Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. I have a question for you. I think you might find it very interesting, and I'm thinking that I might get a yes on this question. Have you ever bought the same mold twice? So you go out and you buy a mold and you go, this is really cool, and you happen to be flipping through another website and you see a mold and you think that'd be really cool to have. You get it and then you realize you've already got the mold. Funny story, it's happened to me more than once. Anyway, we have already made a bowl mold. That's what's underneath here. Technically, we've made this one before. In the last time I did it, what ended up happening was I put some coloring mica powders around the outside, and then I did it with a red and gray for the actual colors I poured into it. And because I put it on the heating mat, it actually ended up like the colors didn't stay separated. I guess it's as the process of it heating it up, the colors blended more together than I wanted them to, or I sort of anticipated them to be honest with you. Anyway, we're going to do another bowl, and this time what I want to do is I want to do it gold and red. Now, I don't have a gold paste, so I want to use a paste and I want to use translucent color. So I'm going to put on my gloves, because we know with my Alumilite I always end up with this stuff on my hands. So we're going to use the red Alumilite. Okay, we're going to use the Zerrin Eye Candy mica powder, which is a gold, a very pretty gold too. All right, I feel like I've got to readjust my camera. And then I'm also going to use this Goose paste stain. Now this color is, okay, try that again. I'm not even really sure what to term this color. There we go. But it has a gold presence to it. And again, because I thought I wanted a paste and I don't have a gold paste, that I would take the Goose paste and the gold mica, I'd put them together, and then hopefully I would get, never mind. There's something on my mold. I'll get it off in a moment. Anyway, we're going to do that and see if I can get it, quote, gold enough for what I'm attempting to do. Because I think, like, I know gold or silver and red go together really well, and I want to see, and a good test for me, if I can actually get sort of a gold color out of using those two colors, the gold and the, again, I don't know what to call this color. I really don't. Other than they call it they call it Stan. My Oscar is an orange. So I'm going to do a deep pour with this. I'm not heating this up this time. I'm going to let it cure on its own. I'm going to let it have its, quote, 3 days. And then we'll see how it turns out once we're done. I'm going to mix up my resins, and I think what I'll end up doing is once I have my colors mixed together, then I will bring you back and we'll go from there as far as pouring them, and then we'll have to wait not so long, me 3 days, for this to cure up. Now I had maybe given some consideration to if I let this sit for 1 day and then I put it on the heat mat, but again, I don't want to run the risk of doing that and it's, messing with my colors. Whatever design it comes up with, I know the resin will do its own adjusting, which is fine. I just don't want to introduce heat and have it go in a different direction. Now, the other thing I'm noticing, and maybe it's just my eyesight, but I don't think it is. I think I've got a little bit of a higher realm over here. And the other thing I'm noticing on this one, and I'm going to try using some of my rubbing alcohol, is what looks like fingerprints over here. So I'm going to have to see if I can clean that up. But we will be doing this regardless, and we'll see how it works out. And I guess the nice thing is I have another mold, so it's not a big deal. And as I'm pushing my hand against it over here, what I might do is see if I can't, like if it looks like it's distending itself, I might just see if I can push something heavy up against this just to keep it more uniform all the way around, which I think, you know, would probably work well in this case. It doesn't need a lot, but it is off. So we'll see how it looks like when we're done, and then we will decide if we have to push something up against it. So one of the disadvantages of getting things from Temu, because that's where I got this from, is running into, they're not perfect molds. I get that. Hopefully this one I can clean these marks up and yeah, hold this into the side, and then we'll be good to go. I'll be back once I've got everything mixed up and ready to go. I have to admit, one of the things I like about deep pour resin is the fact that you can mix it up, you can let it sit for a little bit, and then you can come back to it. And it's, you know, still as liquidy as it was when you first mixed it up, which is something I really appreciate about deep pour resin. And the resin I bought it a while ago, and I'm going to have to find some more things I can do with it, because I don't want to have the part A crystallize like I've had it happen before. And I think moving forward, I'm going to be not hard pressed to buy it, but I'm going to really think a little bit more before I buy deep pour, unless there's something really specific I'm doing and I know for sure I can't use my regular 2-part epoxy. I ended up using some of the chrome gold in my gold. It's a darker gold for sure than the other one, but I think it's given it a nice color. And I thought, well, why not? I've got it. Let's throw it in. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know I had used some of that, and that will be listed in the description below. And for the, I'm sorry, I get sidetracked by the stuff on it. Anyways, and for this, I probably used about 10 drops. I did them a drop at a time, and then occasionally I threw 2 drops in, because I wanted a really pretty red. And I would say I used 10 drops. I might have used 12, but that was about it. I put it in, mixed it up, and then carried on. What I want to do is, I have a turntable that I could maybe put this on, but just for safety reasons and whatnot, I just want this on my table. I'm going to use one of these to see about getting a design within this piece. I don't want to mix the 2 colors together, and I'll show those to you in a moment, but I do want to kind of get a design flowing with this and see what we can do. I have a divider cup. That one's not going to hold it. And I measured out how much liquid it could hold, and it's not going to hold enough for me to be happy with it, because I'll have to keep filling it up, and I don't want to do that either. So let's take that off. We'll bring this over a little bit closer to me. Okay. I'm going to pay attention, as I said, to this one side, because it's a little off, and if I have to, I have my very big jar here, which there you go. I don't have my camera set up in the right place, and I'll just sort of use it as a bit of a push in, but I want to make sure that if I do that I don't distort this too much. So I may have to play with that a little bit. So we'll worry about that at the end, or not even, it's not even a worry. I also wasn't able to get what marks were on this with my alcohol. I didn't get them off either. So we're just going to put that like that. I will show you my red, which is it's a very deep red. All right, very deep red. And then we have this again. All right. And I probably let this stuff sit for about 15 minutes after I had mixed it all up. Now I think what I might do with this gold is I'm just going to stir it up. Oh, I love when I get stuff on the side of my mold. Well, better on the side, right, than in it. Yeah, so we'll just stir that gold up a little bit. I mean, it's going to settle up however it wants to anyway. And I put quite a bit of that paste in here too. Yeah, I put quite a bit of paste. I mixed it up as best I could with a stir stick, and then what I ended up doing was I put it in, I'll call it the blender, to get it mixed up more. So let's just start pouring. We'll do a little bit of each color at a time, and we'll see what we end up with. So hopefully you'll get more of an idea of what the colors look like as I'm pouring them in. And I'm almost wondering too if this mold's a little bit off center. Okay, now seeing that, what do you think? I think if we can get it to keep its sort of shape and whatnot, we may get very lucky and have something really cool turn out of this. That's my hope anyway. Something a little different. And that was one of the big reasons I didn't want to put it on the heat mat, was because I thought if I get some really cool design, I don't want it messed up because of the heat mat. And I have probably about 440 mil. I'd written down in my book that about 420 was needed, and if I have left over, so be it. And I'd really like this to start flowing over this side. I love the red. I'm really pleased that I put as much in it as I did, like made it that beautiful red. Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know why, but it just feels like it's lopsided for some reason. Hopefully that doesn't skew my results. I'm almost tempted to see if I can safely turn it. And not, sort of bugger it up. Let's see if that'll help out a little bit. Oh, well, even though it's going off in the one direction more than the other, I think we should get something pretty cool out of this. Maybe regal even. Kind of poured that not the right way. Now, the other thing I may be hoping that I might have is some leftover, only because I've mentioned it before. This stuff tends, I find, to shrink as it's curing, and I'd like to have some left over so that I can pour in extra as needed. Now, the other thing I'm going to very carefully do too is, because I want to ensure that I don't have any sort of marks underneath this, is I'm just going to lift this up a little bit so the resin can move underneath it. Marks in the bottom of this piece. Yeah, and hopefully, give me my lighter because I'm seeing some air bubbles and I don't want them. I think this is going to look pretty sweet. I'm really hoping, or at least that we have just enough. Boy, if I don't have enough, that's going to be a real shame, you know? Now, I'm just wondering. Okay, so what I want to do is very, and I do mean carefully, because if I have to put something up against that one side, I need to know that I can put something there. I might need to. So we just did red. Yeah, I'm not going to have enough, you know that? And I made more than what I had written down in the book. Dang. Well, that's upsetting. Because I'm close. But I'm not close. Oops. Close enough. So give me a second, because I'm wondering if... All right, let me get this cleaned out. Because I have a mini thought that it may or may not be a good idea. Okay, I'm trying to think what I can use to get the last of this out. Pardon my hand being in your way. Yeah. You scrape the bottom of the barrel, right, just to get what last little drips out of it you can, knowing it's probably not going to be enough. So I'm just wondering then, if I sort of push this in a little bit. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to have a piece of brilliance right now. I'm not sure I'm going to get it. All right. Again, the hand in the way. This is looking really pretty, people. I'm again scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to get out what I think, you know, to help me out here. But I know I don't have enough, so now I'm going to take this out very carefully. I'm just sort of going around in a bit of a circle so it can sort of, yeah. All right, put that there. Now, we know we're a little off on this side. See, I kind of had hoped that if I pushed it in a little bit on this side that it might sort of cooperate with me, but I don't think it's going to. I don't really want a lopsided bowl. And I'd love to get your thoughts if you were here. It looks really pretty on the sides. Like, seriously looks pretty on the sides. So. A thought goes through my head that, one, put this piece up against it. Okay. So just kind of, not hard, just enough to sort of push it in a little bit. Because I don't want to misshapen the bowl. So here are my thoughts. I almost think I should probably make up some more. And I was debating whether I make up both colors or just one color. But because of the sort of the design I've got going on, it would probably screw it up if I didn't. I was thinking if I waited until this set up a little bit, so give it a day, that's going to be in the way of me covering it. Anyway, I'll have to figure that one out too. See, because I want to cover it up. And what I want to cover it up with, oh, maybe I can just take the stuff out of there and that'll be fine. So I can do that. All right, getting back to my thoughts. Make up some more resin. Let sit for a day and then add maybe 2-part epoxy to it. Those are about the only two thoughts I have going through my head right now. I had a thought of maybe, then putting just a clear, like just getting clear UV. The only problem that's going to be with that is because I've got these holes on these two sides, which concerns me a little bit too if I go to fill it up. Is it going to fill up properly in these spots, or is it going to sort of try and come over these two sides, which I don't want it to do either. So I'm in a bit of a quandary right now with what I want to do. It looks like the sides look beautiful. It's such a disappointment that I don't have enough resin. Which, yeah. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to let you guys go. I'm going to have to sit and think with this, and thankfully, because it is a deep pour, I have some thinking time that I can do. Yeah, I need to think about this and what I want to do. Anyway, I'll let you know what I've decided. I may bring you back so you can see what I finally decided on. Yeah, I need to think a little bit. I'll see you guys in a bit. Hey everyone, I just wanted to bring you back quickly. I ended up making up another 120 mils of the red and the gold, and I've poured it in. Now, I don't know how well you can see, but I've got some really cool, what I'll call sort of cells happening in here. Again, there's always a part of me that just sort of wants to take this and swirl it a little bit, and I might do that. In fact, let's do that very carefully, just to sort of bring it in a little bit. I don't want to mess with it too much, but I do like the idea of having, or potentially having, something that looks somewhat cool. And I'm trying to only stay on the top of this, okay? I had to be very careful. There, we'll leave it like that. I had to be very careful when I was pouring it because I was kind of getting close up to the edges here and whatnot. So I finally said, enough is enough. We're not doing any more. I had leftovers, so over to this side, over here, I've done a heart with whatever's left over, and then the rest of it is just pouring out into a random mold I have over here at the side. So I just thought I'd bring you back and let you see what I had done. We'll leave it alone now. We'll let it set up. If I have to do some trimming at the bottom of the bowl, I have to do some trimming. And I'm like seriously hoping that like we've got some cool design on this. So we won't know that. The earliest I would even consider taking this out is 2 days from now, but I think I'll be very cautious on that. So we'll come back when it is time to take it out of its mold, and let's keep our fingers crossed that it comes out the way I'm hoping it does. We'll see. All we can do is wait and see what it does. And, you know, if I don't have enough of one color or the other, then we'll, you know, if we do it again, we'll do more of one than the other. But fingers crossed, this has a really cool look to it when we're ready to take it out of the mold. So stay tuned. All right. Are you ready to see the bowl? And my bowl is a little bit cool due to the fact that, again, basement's cool. I wanted to show you what I made with the leftover resin I had. So using this mold here, I ended up with, I think, this heart. So I'll bring it over here so you can see it. So basically what I had done was I put the red in first and then put the gold on top. And interestingly enough, the gold has, you know, definitely taken over the piece, and the red's at the back. And what I like about it is, and hopefully you can see, is sort of the design that has transpired in the back of it. But the front is definitely gold. No doubt about that. So it's going to be really interesting to see what this did. Now, before I take this out to show you, I wanted to let you know that I was in Michael's yesterday, and lo and behold, what did I see on one of the shelves was some of the mixed mold in the big containers, and I had seen one of the bags of the white mixed mold, which really surprised me. I had gone to pick something up. I was going down the clearance section, and they had it. I mean, sometimes they have all kinds of stuff in the clearance and other times they don't, but they had cleaned it right up. And I thought, well, all the stuff that they're pulling out of the paint aisle, you know, what are they replacing it with? And I had gone online and I'd seen some of the new stuff Alumilite has out. But of course, why would I go looking for mixed mold? Like, that makes no sense. Anyway, I just thought I would mention to you that I had seen they had two of the big 2,500 gram containers, and they had one bag of the mixed mold. So what were they, 500 gram bags? Anyways, I thought I would mention that to you. I don't know if there's been a new deal struck with them and if they're coming out with anything else, but I have to admit I was really shocked by it. I wanted to share that just in case any of you are looking for it. Is it going to be in other Michael's stores? I couldn't tell you that. But you may want to check online because I found that very curious that they had it back. So I'm interested to see with all the stuff they're sort of removing from the shelves, what they're replacing it with. As I say, there's new stuff by Alumilite that's come out, and I'm hoping to do a video on one of the products I've just picked up. But yeah, so just as an FYI for you. So let's get this out of the mold to the best of my ability and see how it turned out. I basically let it sit for the full 3 days. I did not want to mess with this too soon because I just didn't. So it's been pretty much the full three days, 72 hours with this. So let's hoping that this turns out really well, or at least, you know, decently. And I have my gloves on because I don't want to get my fingerprints on it. I still want to let it sit for a little bit just because. Now I do have some marks on it, so that means this mold really isn't up to par, which again, we know that with the Temu molds, right? I mean, we have to take into consideration they're not always the best molds in the world. This one is definitely yeah, not overwhelmingly impressing me, so I might go online and just comment on that, and I'll see if I can show you. Oh wow. This did not turn out the way I expected it to. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. So, the gold definitely took over on the inside of this. I have to turn that mold inside out and see if there's anything I can do about the marks on the inside, because there definitely are a lot of them on the side. So we're a little, yeah, and our bowl's not exactly straight, which we knew that when I went into this. We could see how it wasn't, which isn't a huge deal to me. I mean, is it perfectly round? No, it's not, but I can work with that. Now, the other thing that may not impress some of you is, and let me get it, so right here in the center, we can see where I had my little unit here sitting, okay? And I also have, you know, a couple of air bubbles as a result of that. So was that the best laid plan? I'm going to say no, it wasn't. However, I really wanted to see what kind of design I could get, and I'm thinking maybe had I not done the gold and the paste, if I had just done, see, I don't have a translucent gold dye, and I don't know if it would have made a difference if I'd used a translucent gold dye, if I knew where to get one. And if anyone happens to know, please put it in the comments below for myself and others. Maybe what I could have done is maybe done a red and green for Christmas time, or, you know, different colors, and just done translucent. I was really hoping, I have to admit, I was really hoping that I was going to get more of a design. I did not expect it to be this gold on the inside. I don't mind it, but I'm not in love with it being like this, and I definitely don't like how that looks. So I don't know if I'll do anything to that. We definitely don't have a round bowl, something to keep in mind. I'm kind of curious to use one of these bowls for mixed mold or ceramic resin. I guess I should call it that, and see what happens. I can also see I had pointed out, I think, at the beginning of this video that there was a mark on it that I tried getting up with alcohol, rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, and that didn't work, and I can see it in here now. So not the best mold in the world, and perhaps maybe better off if I did use it for ceramic resin, because you're not going to notice it. But it's definitely gold, that's for sure. And I don't know, and yeah, see, I wouldn't even know which way to sort of, like if I were to try and, you know, sort of shape this, I don't even know which way I would go on this, to be honest with you. I'm trying to see if I've got, yeah, it's just an odd shaped bowl. Yeah, it's an odd shaped bowl. So let's have a look at the side. So right around here, I've got, and I want to make sure I've got you in the light. I don't know if you can see it, but there is right in around here, there is marking on it. All right. So again, Temu mold. I'll definitely go online and comment on that, because it's got, well, that's gold that's just sort of gone on a skew, if you will. I was kind of hoping the inside of the bowl would look like this with that design on it. It looks gorgeous. I love how that looks. And I don't mind this gold in the center here either. And let's see. Yeah, I've got some, and I'm going to have to use my deburring tool to get some of that off, which is fine. I knew that was going to have to be done. So we'll just slowly take you around this. So if I were going for a two-tone bowl, so let's say I was going for a two-tone bowl, I think I pulled that off really well. The gold sunk and the red on the outside. So at least you know, moving forward, that if you want to get sort of that effect, no, I'm not on the camera. If you want to get that effect, then just do what I've done. But yeah, that's it. That is unfortunate. It looks like that. Now I could always cover it up and then pour some epoxy resin in it just to cover it up and do something, but I don't know what I want to do with it. But definitely sort of a learning lesson. I also think, and I don't know whether it's me or whether I've got a bit of a, whether that has to do where I was pushing it in with my ceramic resin dish here, this one that I had up against it, or not. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, we've had a little bit of mix up with this, a little bit. However, I do it so you don't have to. I did need to use my deep pour resin, and I may make another bowl with it, and this next time do it with just 2 translucent colors and not with this, and try and figure out another way that I can sort of get that effect. Yeah, not sure, because I do like the idea, but it didn't give me the effect in here, but it's because the gold, so maybe it would do it differently. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. My brain is going through and thinking some different things, but I hope you did find this helpful in doing it. Again, I'm not going to do anything with it at this point. I'm going to let it set up a little bit more. I'll probably just obviously use it for myself, because these markings on the side, I mean, there's no way I can comfortably give that to somebody. So I will see too if I can't clean the mold out. Like maybe it was just dirty, or maybe it is truly marked, because I've got like right here, like when I rub my finger over that, I can feel the line on that. And we know that it wasn't until I got to the very end that I ran out of. So up here, I'm thinking there's something on the mold itself. So I might have to see about cleaning that up. But I definitely, as I say, it's cool to have it. I can use it for a ceramic resin piece, I guess, and then just accept the fact that it's not a round bowl, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be round, right? I'm trying to make myself feel better here. Can you tell? Now, what we could do, okay, fair enough. What I could do is do something like that, which then covers up the inside. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's a bowl. Why would you ever do something like that? It does lend itself, though, to what else do I have that's maybe more flat that I could put in. I could do it just in the translucent red, so it pops. Pier 1, and I'm going back, my mom, when she had still been living at home, they had come out with mugs at Halloween that actually had, so the one do I still have it? No, I don't think I had a cat. It was a black cat, I think, with an orange handle, but on the inside it had a pumpkin, so that when you poured tea into it or whatever you poured into it, then when you got to the bottom, you got to see the pumpkin. So I'm kind of, just go with me on that. We could do something and resin that in, like with 5-minute epoxy or something like that, to hold that in place and have it as part of it. I think. I don't know why you couldn't. I guess it would depend on what you sort of had in mind for the bowl, but it's definitely a takeaway to covering up that mix up. Or again, as I was told by someone I know, they said it's all part of the process. Anyway, that is it. That's all I've got to share with you. Let me know in your comments below what you think of the bowl. Do you like the misguided shape on it? What do you think of the 2 colors that have gone together? If I do another one, and I would just do translucent next time. Or maybe what we'd have to do is do like a gold and a silver using the micas in order to see what we come up with. And having put the paste in there, that's another reason why this may have sunk so much. Anyway, enough talk. There we have it. There is our piece. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for coming along on the ride, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, and bye for now.